So I scour the internet sometimes, sometimes I'm on Twitter, sometimes on YouTube, sometimes on Instagram. I don't use that a lot, but sometimes, And sometimes you just see comments like this. How can they say stuff like that with such confidence, despite the quality being what it is? This is the statement that Oda made about the next year. This is the whole thing, right? I wanted to talk about this tweet because it's really popular. It has 13,000 likes. It has 60 million views. Now, I see a lot of people talking about that. The views, I don't think matters that much. Like, you have to account for, like, what really matters is the retweets. Because those are the people who are like, yes, I agree 100% with this. The likes, it might just be passerbys reading like, yeah, I agree with some of that. And then the views, that's just all the people, the rest of the people who did not agree, Or at least didn't agree enough to warrant any like or retweet or comment, right? And together it's about, what, 15,000? That's nothing compared to 60 million either way. He has some points here that I wanted to talk about. He says, personally, what I think is really bad. Now, this is a translation by Grok on Twitter, so may not be the best. Personally, what I think is really bad is the unnaturalness of the dialogue and actions. The character breakdown, the difficulty in viewing the artwork, Nika the Black Dot domination, Nika's existence fine but removes tension from the battles, the marginalization of the Strawhat crew, the overuse of heart marks, the mob reactions being too noisy. The counter arguments, I love to hear them. That's what I'm doing right now. No hate to this guy. This guy he can feel whatever the hell he wants to feel about the series, right? We all have our own critiques and what we enjoy about the series. Unnaturalness of the dialogue. That is something that I can't really speak about because I don't read Japanese. I obviously read a interpretation because that's what, at the end of the day, that's what translations are. The interpretations of the original work. We're not reading the original work. And on top of that, we might read scanlations, which is, another layer to that. So I can't really speak on this. When it comes to actions, he talks about this later as well. And that's kind of the characters not acting like themselves. He has an example here, which is this. As an example of a character breakdown, let's take Luffy. On the left, he was saying things like this. Yeah, on the right, in a situation where people are about to die, he says, "Daha, it's like a fountain." Is it okay for Nika to say something like that and get a pass? At the very least, I personally think it's an unbelievable line for Luffy to say. Year 5 makes Luffy different. He does become different. Vegapunk even states this. It said Zoan awakenings can change the mind of the users. Now, he was referring to the unnaturalness that happens if you can't comprehend your awakening. Basically, the Impel Down Guardians. But I think it is pretty apparent that is subtextually also referring to the fight that is literally happening when he says it, which is Awakened Lucci and Awakened Luffy against each other. Chopper also says in Enies Lobby that Lucci's fruit, which is a carnivorous Zoan, changes the user. They make the characters more bloodlusty, whoever wields the fruits. So I think this is... One Piece is very long, of course. You don't have to remember everything, but this is very disingenuous to say. I don't know how to even defend this. And Luffy is way... He cares... Like, let's be honest. He cares way more about these people who he is directly speaking to. Yes, he's using a term where he basically says no one should live like this, or no one should be treated like this. If you go a little bit back, character breakdown and showdown actions. The character breakdown, I think, is kind of with the actions parts, because the dialogue I can't speak on what he said right there. When it comes to the difficulty in the artwork, for example, I usually read the scans. I'm gonna just say that right now. But I watch people react to the officials. I think it looks pretty. In the scans, they use some kind of upscaling, so it looks way worse than it is. In the officials, it looks way better now. Again, that might be because I read the scans. One Piece's art, I think Oda uses a thicker pencil, and the lines are not always as clean as they used to be. I think those are the big problems. It's not really the art style. People love to talk about the art style. I don't think it's the art style. He also uses more space now in each of the dialogue boxes. Oda has been having some difficulties drawing recently in recent chapters, right? We've seen that. It wasn't that long ago when we had another one. I'm just grateful that we get it almost every week, So I'm not gonna sit here and like you can sit here and think about what would have been better, what would have been cool, like whatever. But it's just what ifs at the end of the day. But it definitely can be a critique. It can be a critique, and I see that. There's no denying that. I don't think. And then he goes on to talk about Luffy in Gear 5, and oh boy, Luffy in Gear 5. That is a big talking point. That is never gonna go away. I mean, Oda even said so. He said that he thinks some people won't like it, right? I highly disagree that it takes away from the tension. Yes, he does goofy stuff, but the tension is still there for me. A part where the tension wasn't there, I'll say, was that right after the Kuma flashback up until all of the Gorosei appear. Because I was watching the anime episodes again, not recently, but when I was reacting to them. Or, I keep saying the pacing. The tension was very... There wasn't any tension, in my opinion, because Saturn didn't feel like a true threat, and that's why you get the Gorosei. And I think a lot of the tension either way before Gear 5 doesn't come for Luffy. It comes for the other characters, and I don't think that has changed. Luffy just feels like a natural force that is on the opposite end of whatever the villain is. He's always felt like that. But just that now it's up 10 times, 100 times, which I think is fine. And I really like Gear 5. So maybe I'm not the right person to talk about this, but I think I am, because he still likes Year 5. He literally says Nika's existence is fine, but it removes the tension from the battles. I will need more in-depth of a explanation as to why he thinks that, because he laughs or because he doesn't take things seriously. To an extent, I can see it, but it does make the moments like when he grabs Saturn and Kizaru even more special, because you're like, oh, he's locked in, you know? But I think there could be some interesting aspects that could be delved into later about that from Luffy, or other people noticing it, or something like that. Maybe him not taking things seriously. I don't mind it personally, but there definitely is a point there to that, which I can see. Now, onto the marginalization of the Straw Hat crew. This could be a whole another video. I think that's pretty spot on. I think it's apparent that I have a lot to say about this. I think it's apparent that Oda is spending more time on the side characters in general. I mean, one of the longest flashbacks before this Elbaf flashback was what? Kuma. And so I think he's spending more time on those guys. You also have the Supernova, which he all has to talk about and write about. I don't know. I definitely do think there are moments where they could have been used better though. The one Straw Hat that I think needs something is Frankie. When was the last time Frankie had anything of a character moment? Like a big character moment? In Dressrosa? Egghead, of course, prime time for that. He definitely has more focus in Egghead. He shoots through Saturn, he saves Bonnie. You get some things here and there with Vegapunk Stella, but there could have been way more. Now, it's not over, right? We can get more. An important part though is that he was in front of the mural, so there probably is some plan with him. But it kind of does just shows the overall extent of the crew now. Luffy gets a lot, which makes sense. He's the sun god. A lot of people complain about like Chopper. I don't that, because he gets a lot in Punk Hazard. He gets stuff in Whole Cake, and he gets stuff in Wano. Now, say what you will about the ice only stuff. You might not like it, but that is stuff for Chopper. He doesn't have a lot in Egghead. He has one moment in Elbaf where he runs to save, or try to save Gabon. Dampen the fall. I really love that moment. I hope there's something from that. Maybe he's the one who tells the rest of the Strawhats about the weakness or something like that. I'd love that. He's probably gonna stay down there though with Loki. The rest of the Straw Hat crew I think are pretty fine. Brook, in my opinion, he has some really good stuff in Whole Cake. He actually has I don't see a lot of people talk about this, but he has a lot of good stuff in Wano. Later Wano as well. Egghead, he has nothing. He does one thing, and it's the Sunny, like sliding on the Sunny, that's it. In Elbaf though, which is very surprising. The stuff with Gumko, we might delve into that now, we might delve into that later. That might be a war thing, right? That's gonna be a Brook's little plotline during the war, or something like that, right? Nami gets stuff all the time. Zoro is another one who he's guaranteed to get stuff with Miyok. I think delving into maybe some of his anxiousness could be cool. Him being tough on Luffy at the start of Elbaf, maybe it's a hint to that, because Oda loves going full circle. on arcs. He does that so much with Egghead. There's moments here with Usopp, for example, Luffy being like, "Oh, you couldn't even destroy that wall." That's obviously setting something up. Usopp has had some moments in Elbaf, him and Luffy viewing the village is a really cool moment, but I need more from Usopp. If I get a lot from Usopp though, Elbaf is peak already. I'll say that right now. Rox is such a good character for such little screen time. Harold is as well, Loki, Bunko, Shamrock is very interesting. Jinbei, I think Jinbei gets a lot. He gets a lot at the end of post pre-time skip. He gets a lot at the beginning of post time skip, and he gets a lot in Whole Cake. He can, for me, he can just chill and surf off during the rest of the series. And yeah, Robin as well. Before Elbaf, she could just surf off as well. She could just chill for the rest of the series for me. But she got a lot of stuff in Elbaf so far. Her fight with Summers, her meeting Saul, all that. I love that. Reaction to the library burning, I love all that. But the one I really need to get something more is Frankie. Moving on, the overuse of heart marks, that is ridiculous. I don't even know how, like, this is so ridiculous. Like, you can have whatever complaint you want to have, but like when you compare this, the marginalization of the Strawhat crew, taking out the tension, Gear 5, the difficulty in viewing the artwork, character breakdown, national dialogue, the overuse of heart marks. It's like, what? Like, is he talking about the moment where the rock sparks are seeing Shaki? Come on, bro. It's the same thing as saying Oda ruined Whitebeard's character in God Valley. It's the same thing as saying that. Because the people use the same excuse of like, oh, he runs away. He ran away during the Odin flashback as well. The whole thing about the end of Whitebeard's, the narrator talking about Whitebeard, hurt mentally or physically, right? About his pride and on his back. That is representing his ideals. He's protecting his ideals. The logo is on his back. That's in protecting his ideals. Him, a perfect example, if Whitebeard never ran away, is Ace. Ace is a perfect example of that, which is what someone like Roger gets compared to. Now, Roger runs away as well. He runs away from some lightning during the Olden flashback as well. It doesn't mean they never run away. That is ridiculous. It's just a cool thematical way to put a bow on Whitebeard's character back in Marineford. And it's pretty cool. It's pretty fire, right? That's what that... People take that shit too literally. He gets stabbed so many times. Like, he should have a lot of scars on his back. You know what I mean? Like, it's not literally. Either way. The overuse of heart marks, I think that's ridiculous. Again, I would need examples of this, but I think he's talking about the God Valley stuff. I think that's ridiculous. It doesn't ruin anyone. It's just a gag moment, a funny little moment that humanizes all the characters. I think what people have a problem with is them getting humanized. They want them to be mysterious. That's when you lose a bit of the allure, I think. And then moving on, the mob reactions being too noisy. I can see that. There's a lot of moments where it's like, we don't really need that. Like a character describing an attack could be like, oh, he hurt this guy. X hurt X. X is so angry at X. It's like, brother, we get it. I get why it's in there. People of all ages read it right. I think Oda's talked about that too, it being difficult to know what to include and not what not to include. But I don't have a problem with that. That's a pretty small complaint in my opinion. But if you have that complaint, that's completely up to you. That makes way more sense than the overuse of heart marks. And then you can, I'll leave this. Probably have this in the description below if you want to see it. There's a lot of stuff here from people all over the world. It's Japanese people and it's like English people. So yeah, but I just want to talk about this. I didn't make a video on the Vjump stuff. I do write sometimes on my Twitter if you want to look at there. But yeah, this is basically just the man with the burn scar, and that's some characters we will meet. I think the man with the burn scar is the fishman guy from Roxy's group. I think that's him, because they can create like maelstroms in the sea. I think that's him. Either way, doesn't matter. I just want to make this relatively quick video. I don't know how quick it's gonna be. I need to edit it. But happy Christmas for everyone. It's currently the 24th. It's like 3 a.m. for me on the 24th. Happy Christmas Eve, Christmas, whatever you celebrate. Happy holidays. And yeah, what do you think? Please comment. I'd love to hear what people say about it. Especially love about this. And we may get a chapter. I don't know. If we do, I'm here. If not, I'm still here. I don't know if I'm gonna make a video. I'm gonna make a video on the anime episode. But yeah, that's about it. Either way, have a great day. Have an awesome day. And bye.